one game away from securing their unexpected playoff berth here for LNG and the debut of the organization technically, because it doesn't matter if you're Snake in the past, LNG have never made playoffs. Correct. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Raz, I'm Hysterics, and the show must go on apparently as we look at game one, which was an exceptional performance from a man named SofM, who's our MVP.
Boom! Let's get him on the screen. SofM came in hot this game. His Gragas was sensational, and really it was just, you know, the patience that he exuded this game, being able to get Duan and FunFun on the same page, really well done from him. Really skyrocketed earlier on this game.
That's right.
This was the play that I was talking about. You know, really waiting for FunFun to come in on hot. You know, of course, also was able to get the flash on Angel as well. Being able to get a good counter gank on this one when they were able to get a lead on top side. Also able to get them a kill on towards the bot side of the map to get the kill gold onto Asura. A lot went right for this team right here.
And the execution we're talking about where SofM played the controlled, calm mind game, I'll say, where he just looked better all around with his decision making.
It looked beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of these are also co-MVP replays by the damn Volibear. And guess what? Thank you, Duan, for also improving his win rate.
Yeah, we're
the
up to 4 wins now.
It's getting higher, everybody.
It's like 30% now.
It's a good champion, just really tough to be able to get rolling later on if you don't have a snowball in the early portions of the game. But you know what? Looking real good. And it's up to now Suning to really come in and have a good clapback in game 2.
Yes.
Because the problem is if they get 2-0'd, as we've mentioned, this is just going to be a constant thing that we need to let you guys be aware of, is the fact that if this is a 2-0 win by LNG, Suning get bumped from 6th place to 8th place.
Right.
Just like that. And then, of course, another point to remember as well is the fact that if they just win the damn series, Team WE is booted out of the playoffs.
After what was a great series from them the other night.
Yes.
So for WE, holding on to faith here in Suning, which we thought that faith was well-founded, but Suning in game 1, it didn't feel like there was bark or bite. LNG didn't even let them bark.
There's a lot happening here. So just if we're just trying to unpackage whatever happened to Suning on that
Let's
one.
try.
Now, there are reasonable mistakes that happened around mid lane that we just saw in the replay. But then there were also the most unreasonable things that we didn't get to catch, which was Smlz dying solo bot side, getting hit by a turret shot, then getting it chased down completely, full Kaisa damage coming through. It's just, you don't need to see that happening. But unfortunately for Smlz, a lot of the time he rides that tightrope when he's alone without a support, and then the solution tends to be next couple games, well, the support is now going to be on AD carry support duty.
Yeah.
Like, as in, like, he's just not leaving.
Yeah, SwordArt suck in lane. Yeah.
So we'll see what ends up happening as a result going into next game. I think Suning, if we're just thinking about the composition, they're certainly going to land a lot more teamfight heavy focus there. That they're not just going to be happy with having full priority top side and a Corki going for the bot lane. That really now their season, or at least their playoff hopes, also rides on this one game as well. So big change that we're going to be seeing from Suning, I believe, is that we're not going to be seeing no Corki support. Corki 80 carry.
Corki 80 carry, I mean, that's a pretty straightforward one to say. The Leona support, maybe that changes. Of course, the Tahm Kench was banned away from SwordArt, so that has been his go-to. You even said you like the Brom in that style of composition.
Yeah,
too,
Brom would be great. Like, you can play a very, very strong mid game with the Brom, Karma, Corki, and the Aurelia that they were hovering,
right.
Or you can go towards an Ezreal, send the Corki mid. They could have done a lot here. So I thought the first phase was a very strong one. And I don't even think their second phase was poor, actually, either. I think their draft wasn't bad by any means. It was just how they ended up playing it, knowing that they were going up against a very much of a... It wasn't a Hail Mary comp, but it was certainly a scuffling comp. It was a comp that just wanted to fight you, and I think they needed to be a lot more aware of Fog of War in general.
Because here for Suning, you know, when we talk about going into 8th position and what this series means, I mean, right now you don't want to go up, you know, into that top bracket. You don't want to find yourself in the same side as EDG, FPX, who am I missing?
BLG.
And BLG, who are looking red hot. I mean, that is a
I'm
dangerous
surprised that
side.
you think that's. I'm surprised that you think that's the dangerous side of the bracket, because
Both are.
you know, for me, consensus. You're right that both of them are strong. For me, I feel like the bottom side of the bracket is the Hell side, because you're going up against Invictus Gaming that are looking better on the second half of the split for sure. Then the next one, you're going to be going up against RNG, that if you hear from Balan thinks that right now RNG is the strongest team.
Yeah.
But obviously they have that question mark on the top side of the map. but then you're going to be going up against then top esports. And so if we're just talking about strong from round 1 to then the semifinals, I wouldn't want to touch the bottom half of the bracket. We're talking about the top half of the bracket.
I don't want to touch any of it.
Well, no, I mean, I'm fine going up against the first half.
No.
So you think that, like, here's the question then, because I'm going to take on my hosting cap here. You would rather, which one would you rather face up against, Invictus Gaming or EDG?
IG.
Really?
With that level of inconsistency through the split and just taking away from one series that was against Rogue Warriors looked great.
You're saying IG is more inconsistent than EDG.
Okay, now my brain's really ticking, isn't it?
So
both are inconsistent.
Look, at the end of the day, one team is not only your spring split champion.
The IG do have higher.
Your world champion. The Shy right now is looking like a behemoth. Rookie, while still playing poorly a little bit, but he always comes in really tough from matches that matters in best of 5 as well. So you always have, you know, the respect that Rookie is going to be the best mid laner, or at least the top 3 best mid laners in the world. You have great players. It just comes down to when they come online, and right now they're online. I don't want to touch IG.
Okay. All right.
Of course I'm going up against EDG. I'll leave that to you guys out there, though. Like, at the end of the day, both brackets are hard. And the funny thing is, if you get past first round, I would rather face RNG than I would BLG. And I would rather face top esports than I would FPX. So I think that if you're talking about the later half, then yeah, I agree with you. But, I mean, that's just a banger every set. I'm sorry. That's one you don't want to be going up against every time.
I know after top esports and FPX, we're going to be having a larger discussion about the bracket and who fits in where.
That's true.
What the final roundup is of the season as well.
After this series, we have a full idea of where these teams are laid out.
That's right.
We know where every team is laid out, so it'll be confirmed for us. So that's going to be fun to look forward to.
On the last day, I mean, it's just amazing that we're still at this point where we're looking for that last playoff spot against LNG and Suning. And I remember, I'm going to quote myself because that's apparently the kind of person I am.
All right.
6 weeks ago, I said, LNG and Suning, that matchup feels like it's going to hold everything in the cards, that it's going to hold the lifeline for LNG. And I said Suning at that time, like not knowing where they would be.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I would agree with Hysterics, though.
Old Hysterics. Yeah.
Old Hysterics, yes. I would probably believe a little bit more in King Rastradamus, but I don't know where he went.
He disappeared.
Yeah, he
left.
Not
sure what happened.
He left us. He didn't want
people upset.
He already claimed his prize, so.
All right, let's go into game 2. This is it. LNG one step away. One simple step. And they've swapped here to the red side. They haven't had much success over here, but only time will tell if SofM plays like he did in game 1.
All right, so LNG actually banning out the Olaf and Yuumi, so that combination is gone here. We probably won't see the Volibear. I mean, to be fair, it has some great melee matchups as well, so we'll see. Probably will be left to the second phase, if anything.
You talk about that Sejuani, of course, that Weiwei's played before. SofM does like a good Sedge.
Yeah, with Gragas and Olaf being banned, then the Sejuani priority is certainly higher up. So, want to be able to see that champion coming in for Weiwei.
No time Kench, though, for SwordArt. Constantly banned against him. And
sad face.
Just a great pick in general, but this one has been flexed all around the map for Suning, so that is a no-brainer.
Yeah, I would believe that would be going to Maple. Maple is the strongest
12
Sylas
games
of the bunch.
on Sylas, by the way.
Exactly, and another thing to mention, too, is that we were having a great conversation of just about, like, Sejuani. Usually we have those conversations where we'd say the Olaf and the Gragas is much higher priority in the LPL. Sylas has been that OG counter pick going back to, I say OG, but really Rift Rivals when we first saw it.
Recent OG, yeah.
That would just be the worst rapper name, first of all. But yeah, Sylas probably going to be going to Weiwei if we're just talking about comps here. But, oh yeah, lock it in, please.
Oh man, will it go to the top lane's my question?
Well, I hope not. I really do.
I mean, you have Akali. Flande's best champion this split has been the Akali, so we'll see. This is very early to be locking it in.
The reason why I would love a Kha'Zix, the idea of a Kha'Zix, is because, you know, the usual picks into a Sylas jungle is been bruisers and assassins. So we've been seeing a lot of Xin Zhao's Rek'Sai's. Kha'Zix has been an answer that I've seen. So it'll be a fun one to see. Also, just the ultimate, if Sylas ends up picking it up, is actually just useless for the Sylas. So I liked it, but it really just is a very much an all-in on the specific matchup.
Would have been great if Hacker was playing, because it'd be a bit of a shout-out to him. Hacker in the past has picked up Kha'Zix many a time. As the Zyra come bottom lane here for Suning on blue side. They're going to pick up some strong early game, and the response is the Alistar and the Kai'Sa once again.
That's the best champions for Asura and Duan. You know, if you think the best champion for Asura, to be fair, you would say Ezreal first because that's been the most comfortable for him.
Split.
But he's had some phenomenal Kai'Sa games. And Duan has really made a name for himself throughout his career as an Alistar player. Remember Duan, formerly known as Caveman on Vici Gaming, back in the days of Dandy Jungle. Like, he has been the all-in Alistar type. So we're just talking about comfort. You nailed those 3 first champions. Flande gets his go-to AP assassin top lane. And then you look towards Asura and Duan, they're all in their most comfortable situations.
Now finally on a team outside of Vici for the first time, where Duan gets to strut his stuff in this bottom lane. And now it's the rest of the map we need to figure out, because LNG ban away the Gangplank, a pick that has 67% win rate in the LPL.
It's a bit, we have a lot of great GP players in this league.
We do.
It's a bit scary.
We look at them next series, by the way, Raz. Next series, we're going to be seeing Gimgoon and 369.
And 369. That is awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. We're going to see how that pick falls through. Sejuani we were talking about here for Suning. That's going to find a ban too.
All right, we can't tease our audience this early on. We might find ourselves in a game 3.
Yeah.
We already have such a great dish in front of us right now that we can't be flaunting, you know, the damn...
The steak,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Medium rare.
That's a contentious issue you may not want to bring up.
Oh, sorry. Aurelia? Okay. I'll bring you back to this, because now for LNG, you've already got an 80 carry. Fen did play the Tristana into the mid lane, but you don't know what you're going up against. Does our resident Lee Sin pick it?
Like, it really doesn't matter who you end up going up against, unless if it's a random lock-in on a Pop. Well, actually, even Poppy is probably the best matchup for the Tristana. So, you know, the beauty of Tristana is that she works with nearly every lane. So, let's see what Suning ends up locking in. They do need a mid-game bridge here. They have a great 2v2 in the bot side of the map with the Xayah and Rakan. I would say a little bit more on the engage is what I would like to see. Some wave clear that can allow them to get to that late game stage.
Okay.
All right, that's pretty much a confirmation. That's going to be a Sylas jungle.
Yep. We'll see what Angel plays in the top side now, because Angel played mid last game around. Remember, lanes are very fluid within this team. I get the joke I just made there. 15 seconds to find out that final pick.
I was so close to explaining the joke, but then that's just the way you kill all jokes.
Yeah, look, you don't trust me with humor. Okay, it is a Sylas in lane, but which lane, Rice?
Yeah, so, what? Oh, yeah, in Sylas, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My mind just, whatever reason, decided
it was the joke. It was the attempted joke.
Lane.
I'm sorry, I've interrupted.
But no, you're right. Sylas in lane. You know, I would expect that to be going to Maple, but I don't have a complete... Actually, Sylas is a pretty good lane matchup versus the Akali. So that's a pretty good one. Fun, does he have a Yasuo?
Does he play the Yasuo? You have Alistar. No, you pay it safe. The audience are a bit upset. They're a bit upset.
He's trying to piss off the audience.
He's done it. He picked Corky into his ear. I'm pretty sure he just did it.
Yeah, that's how people are angry now.
Okay.
I mean, I'm happy because it's a bad matchup for the Yasuo.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you just want high picks.
Of course.
That's all you want.
So Corky into his ear once again. My eyes turn to the top lane for Flande and Angel, because that looks to be the go here. 10 seconds to get that final lock in. You mentioned the matchup. If it seems good, do it.
Yeah, here's the weird thing is that a lot of the times for both lanes, they have their way out. And a lot of the time you look towards their jungler for that. You know, Shroud is a great way. I would expect the Akali to go towards an electrocute. We'll see when we get in there. But I mean, both matchups have their way of being able to get good trades. They're both incredibly fragile early on in these games, and they look towards their jungle because for both of these champions have a very difficult way of being able to control their wave. So when you trade as an Akali, you're trading your Q through the wave. If you're the Sylas, you're doing the exact same thing. And so that's why the Xin Zhao is probably going to be that X factor being thrown in, because that man is looking up top lane and trying to get his top lane ahead.
We're one of the few people to still pick up this champion, and towards the top side of the map, you know that LNG in the past, the focus on Flande from SofM. So seeing the 2v2 up there, that's exciting, because that's how Suning will need to bridge us to a game 3.
And I have a lot of confidence in Weiwei. When I was doing my top 5 jungles just for myself, and perhaps I'll end up releasing that.
Oh, I look forward to that.
Weiwei actually ranked in as number 5 for me.
Really?
Yeah, because we have a lot of junglers that have great highs, but definitely have a lot of lows. And, you know, members like SofM and Ning really reside in, like for you, if you ask 2 different people, where would you rank them? People who watch the LPL, you definitely have incredibly different answers. But we've seen a lot of great stuff from SofM. Let's see if we come into this game with a strong one as well.
If we get the highest of highs once again, Raz, that's what you need for LNG to secure playoffs and knock WE out.
Wait a minute.
We're going fighting early on, Raz. You're scared me turning off the light. Smlz ignites it down seconds again. LNG do it again, but this time before the 1 minute mark. SwordArt is in so much trouble as Asura. Oh, the flash instantly. That was a ready double.
He canceled that auto so close to being able to just get that extra kill.
He's in a lot of trouble as well. The 5-point strike does a lot of damage to poke them down. Fen's there, and Weiwei and Maple, they won't have time to back, so it's potions at the ready.
Remember, I mean that the flash ended up canceling that auto attack, so it was a perfectly timed flash. He was hoping that he didn't need to use it. He was able to get over the wall. So yeah, nice level 1 coming in from LNG right off the bat.
We need context as usual though, Raz, because we always come into the Rift late. I know you get upset about it. I do too. How did we get there?
Because if you looked at that position, you would assume that, you know, LNG were on the blue side.
Yeah.
They were on the wrong side of the map, finding their way back into their own blue side jungle and getting that pick. So pretty crazy there. End of the day, I don't believe we would get a replay. Well, I'm surprised if we do.
At the very least, we can let you all know that Asura, like game 1, is set up for success again.
Yes. So close to being able to nail that second kill, but I'll take that flash on Rakan. Remember, especially going into the Alistar lane, now not having your flash, pretty easy way to just die here. So if I'm LNG, you know, SofM is definitely eyeing that bot lane.
Take composure in the fact that Duan uses Ignite, but flash still available for the cow. Asura has his heal. Apart from that, other summoners are available for Suning's bottom lane. So we get an early game where attention is focused towards that bottom side and maybe a little bit mid as Maple's starting to poke out the Corki.
Always love Hail of Blades on the Xin Zhao, of course, just to be able to get as fast of a knockup as possible. Good for ganks primarily, and all as well, just kind of being able to get the skirmishes right off the bat. There are a lot of squishy members on LNG, so it's really impactful to have for yourself.
Big wave building up the bottom side here, though. Looking down at Suning, they've been able to pull everything together, but should be an easy cleanup here for LNG. I want to bring us back to what you're talking about before we came into this game, where Flande in the lane matchup has decided on the fleet footwork instead of the electrocute.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of wondering about that, but we'll look into the bot side trade here first.
It can go on. They're okay for now.
I mean, that was
Probably
a pretty good trade there for Suning. I'm pretty happy about that. That kind of erased the level 1, so now Smlz and SwordArt are in a great spot. But to get back to the top lane point, because of all that poke that Angel is able to apply with Biubiu, especially when in Shroud, that's the kind of point of the matchup that I was referring to, is that Angel is going to be able to trade pretty easily, and so now Fleet Footwork allows him to keep topped up a little bit more. So if I'm trying to find an angle here.
Just walking through, asserting his dominance, letting him know who he is.
How you doing?
He's gone towards top scuttle, of course, where Flande has the shove in this top lane wave, so the pressure we talked about setting for the top side for LNG seems to be on track.
All right. Also, Conqueror's pick up there for Angel with the Silas there. So if we're just talking about longer skirmishes, that is going to be a good pickup. If we're just talking about sustain, Conqueror's is definitely going to achieve that a little better in longer fights. So I don't see much action happening up top side unless if Weiwei ends up getting a good opportunity for a gank. But that's just a good ward being placed. Good vision, I mean, from Flande. So he should be fine.
Glad we got to have a little look at the interaction with the Shuriken flip mid animation. If the abscond abduct connects, then Akali doesn't go all the way through with it. Pretty simple stuff here if you're new to the matchup.
Yeah, even going deeper about the vision wards though, like one place really deep into the blue side jungle. And speaking of deep, SofM playing solid Snake right now.
As usual. Gonna get spotted out as he walks on through. Scuttle was there available as well, but SwordArt being very active with his vision towards that bottom side, like he was in game 1 too.
Yeah, he always wants to send in a ward as deep as possible. Doesn't usually get that support from Weiwei. Actually even makes it easier for Weiwei if he doesn't get picked off going in for that deep of a ward, because then suddenly Weiwei can play topside pretty easily. Smlz and SwordArt are a lot more confident with the wards that they have laid down. The wards that you got placed by Suning through mid lane that you can see in the river actually is catching out 2 people coming through right now.
Yeah.
But now you have great vision that will allow Smlz and SwordArt to play a lot safer. I don't think they got to see the Jarvan though, that's my question.
No, it was FenFen who cleared out that quick ward. Now moving to the bottom side, pings aren't going down, but they smell something's up. The usual LPL play, something's fishy.
Yeah, usually when you send that control ward out there, get it clear out as soon as possible. There's reason to be suspicious, but he gets knocked up here.
Smlz only level 4, he's going to get locked up. There's going to be the Ignite, the flash away from the flag and drag as SofM makes his presence known, and Xin Zhao's on the way in.
Summoner's down on Smlz. I wonder how much he can actually help out in this fight if Weiwei goes for it.
I mean, Duan is super low. SofM sticking around. Weiwei can walk on in with the audacious charge. Target will be Asura. 3 versus 3 with a very low Alistar looking to regen.
A pretty large minion wave too, so there wasn't going to be much of a support coming in from Smlz. Didn't have much HP to his name. SwordArt didn't have much mana, so looking at Weiwei in that situation, understandable that he would leave, but take a look at this here.
Oh, Maple going all in, sends the Corki back with instant flash from FenFen. His audacious charge, not going to use the poke there, the burn, the big one to send the damage right back. He survived as the flash comes through from Asura. 2 kills on the Kaiser early. LNG somehow living with these health bars as the re-engage from Duan. Maple going to get poked down. Asura wants to keep taking the fight as Angel now joins from the top lane. Flande shortly behind, but 3 versus 4 as a flash with the perfect execution. Angel gets shredded, and SwordArt now on the wrong side of Summoner's Rift. LNG fight back just as hard as game 1.
Where's the long-term planning coming in from Suning? LNG playing this map out so well, always have the numbers advantage, even with Akali chasing Angel down. So, I mean, Angel was able to get the kill for himself, but the exit strategy wasn't there. Perfect position for Flande to just go in. Take a look at this, because you can see it. Weiwei was just 1 W away from getting the kill on FenFen. In fact, I think he miscounted on his Qs. Thought he would be able to get the knock up there from FenFen. Wasn't the case. And so, you put yourself in a pretty awkward position. Look at the minimap. You see Akali chasing down the Sylas. So Sylas is, yeah, great, I get this kill. But they weren't thinking about the long term of how they're going to be able to get out of this fight, because the answer was they weren't.
Really good positioning from FenFen with the re-engage. After picking up some of the fruit in the river, got his health bar. That was when Flande returned, or sorry, made his way into the fight. 2-0 now on the Akali with the Cutlass early on.
It's a pretty weird situation for Weiwei, because, you know, getting into the fight, his eyes were always going to be on FenFen.
Yeah.
He flashed in without the empowered Q for the knockup, and then thought he could still get the kill with the W. Wasn't the case too, so there were 2 miscalculations there. So he ends up losing entirely on that one, and they commit to a larger fight. All right.
Okay, he just walks away.
Just threatening. How you doing?
Yeah. Another peekaboo here in the bottom lane, but SofM's making his way down. Wave is frozen in the mid lane, so Corki can go, push it out, and SofM right now getting spotted out by a ward that's placed in the river. As during this whole fight, when we look at SofM, we say, okay, he wasn't the one to pick up the kills. The distribution again goes to the right members, where Asura was able to pick up that Manamune early on before the 7-minute mark.
Yeah, so he's stacking really early on, and this is a situation where LNG has so much control on the bot side of the map when Suning has all the vision here. So it's a really bad position to be in. All this control is now there for Asura and Duan. SofM and oh my god.
Hang on, Raz. Flande decides it's time to die. Angel. This is a perfect execution, and you know exactly how it's going to go. We look to the bottom lane, and Suning are trying to trade off, but Asura is too big and mighty right now. And now so is Flande.
All right. That's a 3-kill Akali. She's getting pretty damn close to that gunplay too. And SofM is seeing red too. Oh my god, help!
And he hasn't been spotted out, as SwordArt is going to make the trip for vision, but SofM's waiting.
FenFen can actually rotate here too, so Let's see how much. Oh,
Flag
okay.
and drag into the ult. The feathers will fly. Good knock up here into the Java. Asura ult into the backline. Duan needs a simple headbutt pulverized with the heal. Gives them the movement speed. LNG are low and now have to run past this turret with the minion wave slowly decreasing. They'll survive.
They know Azir is on the way too. Corki was following him out, but they also just were able to deny Smlz both his heal and a lot of the minions in the wave. So you still take that. That's really well done from LNG. At least Suning were able to keep their dual lane safe.
Yes.
So that was such a dangerous position to be in.
Because this is a game now that for Suning, mitigating that pressure from LNG seems to be the priority. It's a 2k gold lead, so not that far out, but slowing down this Kai'Sa, this Akali from getting any further ahead is the want here out of the blue side team.
For me, I look at this and I just think snowball. I don't know if it's as bad as game one. I actually don't think it's as bad as game one. But now you're in a situation where Akali has both her recipes for Gunblade, has full control in what is a very tumultuous top lane matchup. And now you're asking for a lot here for Angel. Angel is either going to just be killed repeatedly, or Suning are just going to move their solo dual lanes up top lane. They need to do one of these situations, because, or at least the last one. The first one's not an option.
Well, their bottom lane is still there. Flande's here with the support of the Alistar and the Jarvan. Weiwei's moving up, but he's spotted by Vision, so SofM can go in. Flande goes in with the Shuriken flip, and Angel is going to get pressured out here, and that Rift Herald now up for contention.
At least he was playing this one at safe. He knew that he had the wave by his side. But you're right about Rift Herald being now primary focus. We're a few minutes off from turret plates being down, so SofM can pick this one up. I would actually send it up top lane. Usually you'd want to send it up mid, but get as much gold as you can, solo gold on towards Flande so he can get to his full completed item. That's a pretty damn good pickup if I'd say so for myself.
Suning don't want to give this one away though. They're moving into River, but this is going to be a 4 versus 3. 4 versus 2 for now. Rift Herald, the flash here from Duan. Weiwei goes to the backside, steals away the Rift Herald. That's great, but for Flande, he tags onto the jungle. Cataclysm comes on down, and LNG are losing their health bars rapidly. Suning makes the move, and finally, proactivity pays off.
Wow, I didn't think they would be able to pick up that one. Not only did they steal out that Rift Herald, but also the flank coming through from the top side really solidified that kill coming in from Suning. So seems like this game is coming back now.
That's instant use of the Rift Herald as well through the mid lane for Suning. That getting dropped is so good with turret plating, and Maple got 2 kills out of that play, and now he gets the gold to go with it.
That's pretty damn big right now. Maple's having a great game just based off that alone. I want to see the replay because that last performance was pretty damn good. Let's see if he gets out of this one. Doesn't want to take the challenge.
No perfect execution available for Flande, but you're right, we need to see that replay from the last play. But SwordArt, ult is available for Asura with both summoners available. Doesn't want to take it in the 1v2.
That would have been, you know, a killer situation to be in by Suning. If they lose both the Rift Herald and that fight, if the Rift Herald was given towards Flande as well. But, you know, flew in towards the top side of the map where Angel comes through, and Duan was so close to being able to eliminate Weiwei from contention on Rift Herald, but was just a fraction of a second away from that one. So, great collapse coming in from Suning. They're able to clear them out, but they would have been able to get that Rift Herald. That was actually just so close to being able to nail it.
True. The instant flash saves the day. Weiwei comes up clutch, and now we're back to a game which is more than even. Suning actually have the gold lead for the first time this game.
That's true. I will say, though, that it's still a little better for LNG. Compositionally, one member you would want to have that spike is Flande, and he has himself Gunblade immediately. You can also look towards the J4 who's going to be making plays happen towards that side of the map.
SwordArt picked that up.
A lot of the gold right now is on Maple. So it's very difficult for, you know, Nazir to be able to make that advantage known before team fights start setting in. So I want to see if LNG can get something going.
Angel with the perfect execution on top of Flande. He follows it underneath turret. I didn't think he wanted to go that far. Turn around with gunplay, use perfect execution. You know Angel's dead. Flande waits. The flash burn. The 1v1 continues. Flande wants this badly while we go to a team fight on the bottom side, and LNG find the first kill. SwordArt interweaves between it all, but they just lose people in a matter of moments. Smlz and Maple come up huge.
SwordArt and Maple ult combination was crazy. Nah, I feel so bad I didn't get to see the beginning of that one, and we still didn't get to see the resolution of top side. That was a solo kill for the Akali. And now look at this 3-man charm from SwordArt when he had the members colliding through. So Maple was there for it. He knew that he was going to be able to have that at least. A lot of damage layered down. The moment Funfun joins the fight, he goes in.
Wow.
Swept straight into the wall too.
The weaving was cool. Sick play from the old LMS mid laner and support of Flash Wolves as Flande did get the solo kill in the back of that trade. So it's not like LNG got blown to high waters, but they're starting to lose a lot more gold across the rest of the map.
This game is really about Maple versus Flande. You know, the lead that Maple was able to have, SwordArt being able to kind of give him a lot of that gold in the bot side play. And then the top side of the map, I mean, Flande is still keeping hope alive here for LNG to get that 2-0. Let's see what ends up happening here. I think they need Flande to start rotating to help the rest of the team, because Angel's doing a good job at least keeping him interested. As bad as it is. I think they're just trying to hide what happened top lane to keep Angel's reputation strong.
4 kills on both of our stars, with Maple being able to start with the Nash's Tooth here on the Comet Azir, but I'm going to pause that because LNG towards the bottom side still looking for a pick, trying to recover some of this gold lead that they had. Remember, they're down 3,000 gold at 16 minutes in the game for LNG. They want to slow this down. They want to get back on top of picks.
LNG needs to ask themselves what they're playing for. The position that they're in at this stage, they're actually just hunting for picks. And they lost, you know, positioning on both mid lane and bot lane wave. So they need to kind of reset at least the bot lane wave a little bit more. But it's kind of funny that LNG are now just in this mentality. They're like, all right, we know they're going to be rotating here. They're just trying to go for the hard reads.
Yep.
I love it, but, you know, they need to get back to playing around Akali. So at least to be able to nail out these easy wins.
Especially towards the top side where Baron's going to be there in 3 minutes. Akali still stays in this lane. But Flande's starting to move around a little bit as SwordArt spots him out. And we're waiting for that second item now. I know a lot of people don't like the Morellonomicon second on Akali. I'm going to say a lot of people, I think it's just LS. But what do you like, Raz? What do you look forward to when Akali's this elevated? What is your second item against this comp?
Rabadons.
Okay.
I'd want as much damage as possible. The scaling buff that she actually got on her Q was actually pretty damn good. And also just the fact that they gave her scaling on E is nice.
Yeah.
So at this stage, I would want Rabadons. If you're just holding on to the Oblivion Orb, that's fine too.
It's a Fiendish Codex in the inventory. Take a look at the wide cam. It's Kasuninga pushing mid, pressuring Duan and SofM down to this bottom lane.
Remember, it could just simply be a Zhonya's pickup. So
that's true.
It's possible. I'd like Zhonya's if he's trying to join in for team fights to be able to buy as much time as possible. More of a filibuster being able to have both the Shroud, Zhonya's, and then get your cooldowns back up for your Q. I want to be able to see what he's able to do in team fights, but all this pivoting around Fog of War, LNG cannot play towards it. They need to get out of here.
It's SofM and Duan really leading the chase here, and Asura's closely behind them. The Kaiser who got this first blood pre-1 minute. It was actually down 30 CS in the lane matchup, so for Asura, it's definitely taken a slow pace. It's been pushed back as he still isn't onto that Ginsu's Rage Blade when he was highly accelerated in SofM. You said he has to be careful, he needs to leave.
Yeah, he was really challenging SwordArt to not just press ultimate, get a charm going, and maybe looking for a pick on SofM. They're always playing that type of game. Kind of challenging to see if you're going to go all in for a Jarvan who can just buffer his EQ combos. So it's always fun to be able to see SofM challenging mechanics on that one, but looking at the position you're in, Maple's under some real threat.
He is. That's a wow flag and drag. Thank you very much. Cataclysm comes back and locks him down. Maple almost takes down Fen. That was a slide of a J4 EQ.
Yeah, really well played. Got right back to, you know, Cataclysm on top of his head so he wouldn't be running away. You caught Suning sleeping there because the rest of the members were back at base. You know, both SwordArt and Weiwei had left entirely, so it was actually just Maple alone here in this situation. So as you can see, 3 members coming back up from the base. Maple was just really close to his turret, sure, but away from his teammates. Easy to collapse on him.
Shutdown goes to Fen as well. 800 gold from the Azir. That was 4-0 with 2 items. Now transfers over partially to Fen, who has the BF Sword and Zeal.
What a bad timing for that play to come through. The rest of Sinning were just trying to prepare for this next dragon, and now they lose all of the vision they'd worked for because of Maple just dying in that situation. At least he held on to his flash, I suppose. But now take a look at this. At least, you know, Sinning pushing through mid can take control again, but it's a tough one.
Especially with bottom lane shove and package available from FenFen. So Angel moving down to approach the wave means LNG recur back onto their position.
All right, let's see what we got. Another skirmish happening here now.
Who wins this 1v1? I feel like it's not going to be Angel at this point. The big one at the ready as well.
So Angel's now completely pushed out of this fight. Could be an opening here for LNG.
I mean, does Weiwei want to go in? Good two-man headbutt pulverized from Duan. Strike goes over to LNG. Knock up on the way out. SwordArt is disengaged, and FenFen picks up the first kill. One has taken all the damage. Smlz chasing up onto the jungler, but look how low they are. FenFen flashes back in the pit, and Maple follows up. That's a small price to pay for a trade plus the dragon.
Yeah, FenFen didn't find an opening there. Asura may find something.
He's going to see Angel, the 1v1 for the Kaiser. He ults immediately. The healing's going to come through, but Angel is dead, and now Asura has to make his way out.
He should be able to get out pretty easily. See if he can. No, actually. I think Maple will know. Maple will know.
You know he's in there. He wants to take the one, and he does. That's what happens, and he has flash. He's out. The Azir can't travel over. He already used the shifting sands. Asura makes the run for the exit.
What was a weird situation for LNG just gets so much better. Asura is a god.
That was great. Now, Flande, I don't know how he's there.
yeah, let's not see it. We don't need to see it. Let's talk about good times, baby. Let's talk about good times for LNG. Angel gets completely pushed out of the fight. FenFen can now join. It was a good initial start to the fight. Remember, Smlz and Maple here were just untouched. This is FenFen knowing that he took Angel pretty low, comes into the fight, but the W from, you know, Angel keeps him topped up. He finds himself in a bad situation. Now let's go to live and see. I think we'll buy more time here, just to see if Flande ends up dying.
You know he's gonna die.
Yeah,
you know
he's
dead.
Die. He's dead. He's dead.
This was a Silas moment turned into, okay, he gets the kill. How does he get out? Not how many more could he take with him?
I thought for sure he was dead, but the full stack, passive stack on SwordArt, and then the clean getaway. For sure, red buff had something to do with a little bit of sustain that he was able to get in the back half. Wait a minute, he doesn't have a death.
Flande lived? How? He was in the shroud, to be fair, so he must have just walked.
How did he not die?
Into the brush. Why have we not gotten a follow-up replay?
Usually, I don't want to see a replay into the replay, but this is definitely a must-have. How did the damn guy survive?
He had like 100 HP, if that, so that's curious.
This is probably the biggest outplay since Voldemort didn't kill a baby.
You can't get much bigger or better than that.
All right, I just want to see. Did he have a thunderbolt on his head?
I guess we're just not getting the replay, are we?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, we got a 2-item Akali who is deathless, who still has a bounty on her head. I'm going to do a quick item check while we have a small moment of passivity. I think that's a word. Passivity? Passiveness. We've got a 3-item Kaiser. I'm sorry sometimes. Asura almost towards what looks to be Renan's Hurricane. So those 2 kills that we came out of the hype replay with, they did a lot for this guy.
He's huge. He's crazy. Now he's getting to the next item, so he's already fully stacked up his Muramana. He's in an amazing spot at this stage, so both your damage carries at this stage of the game, Flande and Asura, should be able to carry out these team fights. My concern now is Maple's health and well-being, because he's the guy holding all the cash, and the 2 guys aiming to mug you are actually pretty damn good against you. Mobility is always a pretty easy way to get past the ultimate for Maple. So Maple wants to play a front-to-back team fight.
True.
LNG can easily get past that. So I like the composition coming in from LNG and who's the one that got the gold.
And don't forget, they picked up the double mountain on the back of that play as well. So 24 minutes in, we've got 3 mountains on Summoner's Rift. And we've got a Baron standing there in front of Suning as LNG look to approach, and SofM in a good position if Duan wants to find the counter engage.
He's just trying to make a stand. That's the usual dangerous position for SofM. trying to make a play when FunFun is back at base, when the Kai'So is actually clearing through mid.
The LNG we were concerned about showing signs.
Yeah, I think Suning are just too concerned now because they could have started a fight in that position. They're looking for one now, though.
Duan looking for the headbutt pulverize to get out of here. The Unbreakable Will is going to be popped, but it's been late. Suning, find the support as my voice dies, right?
Goodbye, your voice, and goodbye, Duan. Yeah, I don't think you want to laugh that hard, too.
I don't know what Duan did to my voice, but
yeah, it happens.
That actually just hurt.
Sometimes it happens like that.
End of the split, and I'm like, you know what? Have a break.
Sometimes it happens like that.
Have a sip of water. Tell me what you think about this play.
So that was 2 plays in a row. The first one was unpunished. This one was heavily punished. LNG is playing really recklessly when FunFun has package, and now this is going to be one of the most useless package when you don't have an Alistar to come in with a combo.
Heading towards Baron, Angel has the Unbreakable Will to be noted here for Suning. They start up the Baron. LNG have 5 members again, but Duan is nowhere nearby, so they have to slow this down.
I like the situation for LNG, unless if this is just a pure burn.
I mean, SofM is looking for the steal over the wall. The Rakan ultis pop. SofM jumps on in, but he's being caught out in front of the Baron. He has to flash away. While we see Akali get in the back line at 3. The Blade Caller doesn't find anything, and FenFen at full health starts knocking away. The Akali's done the dirty work. Flande is huge. Jumps in the back line too ambitiously as Asura and FenFen look to clean up the rest. Maple tries his darndest. The soldiers at the ready, but they can't do it. There is just too much going on for LNG.
That's probably the best description for that fight. There was too much going on. So impossible to kind of go through the entirety of it. At the end of the day, Maple was trying to kite back. You got a lot of people gunning for you.
And you're looking at this Baron, you're on the edge of your seat. SwordArt can 1v3 as the Rakan, but they turn for him. They're like, no, Asura will finish the Baron and will finish the Rakan. Great juggling of aggro, and they get the ace in the end.
The nice Rakan bait. All of us are at 10 HP. Come and get us. This is a great way to really wrap up the season for both teams. Not so much for Suning, actually, but it's an exciting way. All right?
Yeah.
This is when you get the popcorns ready for everyone in the Suning headquarters.
And you throw some at WE, because right now they're like, hey, this could have gone to a Game 3. This felt like it was going to a Game 3 at one point. But LNG's team fighting here, it was messy, but it was on the mark.
They lost so much HP on Weiwei there. At least SofM was put in a position where he's losing a lot from, of course, Baron smacking him down. When he finally EQs in, he dies, so he's a non-factor. The problem is FunFun. FunFun was able to come in slowly, being able to just Valkyrie in the moment all that resources were used on the Akali, and then slowly play it front to back. So we were all focused on LNG playing a more flanking approach towards the Azir, and then we forget if we're just talking about a front to back team fight.
It's great.
Corki is actually super well equipped right now with his items. He has now got a lot of crit underneath him. 4,000 damage in that last fight.
A great game to show that you belong on this team. As the substitute who came in for the last series against Vici. FenFen comes in a Game 2 very strong here with almost 4 items, with the Baron buff in tow and with the rest of LNG around him, looking for the flank behind mid to try and get a 2-0 series and lock in your road to playoffs.
You can tell how desperate Suning are right now because the Azir is trying to divert some attention up top lane. And he's your damn wave clear.
Yeah.
You need him, actually.
They can just keep splitting between lanes. Corki has the wave crashing in. The Azir has to back away, and they're going to be slow to getting to this chase.
He should have backed a while back. If you're going to be sending anyone up in the top side, it should be Angel, not your main wave clear.
Right.
And so they lost a lot of HP on mid and bot lane tower for that purpose, and it seems like this should just be taken down now.
A lot of pressure on top of this turret. SwordArt going for the engagement. I'm not sure that's the right move. The wave's going to crash in, and with that, Suning's engages down. The inner turret goes down.
All right, FenFen's left alone on this one, so he's going to be able to go to the second turret quite easily.
It's getting harder and harder for Suning to find that miracle now, and I can call it a miracle because LNG have total control.
You know, it's funny.
Tell me.
I'm just going to check to see if there's any engages that'll happen before I tell story time.
Yeah, look around. Oh, and tell me.
All right, perfect. So we have a term way back in the day when the most important thing in playoffs was just like proper placements, right? You know, it really was just trying to avoid the best teams, and they were called Oscar nights. Now, I'm not saying this is that element of an Oscar night for Smlz and for the rest of the squad, because they definitely, the one thing they don't want is to get 2-0'd.
Yeah.
But it does change their placements a little bit in the brackets. That's something that I want to check up on.
Because I was looking at 2-0, and from my calculation, it means they'll be placed towards 8th.
Yep.
And that means facing off against EDG. Now, I know in the first round we had this conversation.
Ooh la la.
But my point was more towards, it was the quarters. It was if they make that run towards the FPXs and the BLGs playing at their very best at the moment in summer.
Ooh la la.
Yeah.
EDG.
Yeah.
I ain't mad about that. You saying I have to go up against EDG instead of Invictus Gaming? I take that.
I don't take quarterfinals. Oh, hang on. Pause for a second. LNG. This could be the final fight as Asura tagged on in. Weiwei has to pop the ulti. Flande just around the corner providing so much pressure. He'll use the ulti to push them away. And LNG, the Baron may expire, but they're still ready to fight at all times. You're still looking at standings. I'll just keep talking. That's fine. What do you want to tell me, Raz? You got new information for me?
Oh, I will have it soon. But at this
Okay.
stage of the game, we really aren't getting much new information with Suning trying to battle back on Vision.
That's right.
They're in a really tough position being able to bounce between both mid and top lane, and taking a look at the new base that came through in a lot of these guys. Yeah, we're in a bad situation. Double Infinity Edge being picked on Asura and Funfun, so yikes.
Yep. I like the option for Merc trades as well from the top lane and mid lane are alike here on the side of LNG. Especially when you're going up into that Silas. Let me think otherwise. Towards the Audacious Charge flow, I'd say. There's actually a lot of roots coming from that bottom lane too, so. For Suning now, going to counter around this fight. This for LNG is just approaching that Baron in 50 seconds. And Infernal to go with it.
So here's the context of Suning this series.
Tell me.
So yeah, they can change the side of the bracket they're on here. You know, if Suning win this series 2-0, or at least like actually, as long as
if they do it.
no, but like as long as if LNG wins this 2-0, they go up against EDG on the top side of the bracket. If they lose this series, or at least like, let's just say if that first situation doesn't happen whatsoever, then they go up against Invictus Gaming and get put in the bot side of the bracket. So this is actually a better situation, funny enough, to be in. So Oscar night is on.
Definitely is. It's just so hard at the moment because standings are so darn close. That's why we're talking about for WE relying on Suning to win this series by whatever means. As Maple might actually, no! He hasn't found Flande. He escapes. Shurima Shuffle used and LNG teleports coming in. This is the trigger with Baron now spawning.
All right. Let's see if we get something going now. Remember, he has package. He's just ready to pick up a fight here. Duan is in position.
Oh, they started it. It's
this
just the
should
two
be
of
an
them.
easy one. They don't have vision at all. SwordArt has an idea.
Yeah, that's going to find them now. All gung-ho teleports there from Suning.
All right, they're going to be able to stop them. This does seem like LNG is playing really well, and they're just the better opponent of the two. You know, Smlz, like, Suning didn't make any poor decisions. I think their drafts have been strong. It's just been, you know, LNG has been much better around. SofM, he's been the better jungler here in this series versus Weiwei. But yeah, good luck. I mean, at this stage of the game, they win in team fights. They win in a wider map situation. LNG are just grouped up for a good reason.
Confidence that you can find yourself in with LNG right now. A team that, I'll keep reiterating, we struggle to believe in the past 5 series have been sloppy, and Suning want to take us even further, but LNG are ready for that team fight.
Oh, is this game going to be decided on 50-50?
Oh,
No!
that's a flash on in with the ultimate, the quickness used. SofM gets the flag drag in with the Cataclysm. Duan in the backline gets the head up pulverized. While Asura ults in the backside. He flashes on out, but he's still alive. LNG are taking it. They're looking to set themselves up to playoffs, and that fight could have been it.
Let's see how far we can go here. 50-second death timer on Maple and the crew. This is going to be a pretty large parade now that they're going to be able to run with these minion waves. The cannon minion wave too.
Don't even need the Baron at this point. A quadra kill goes to Asura at the end of that fight as well. That was a way to finish it if it gets down to that SwordArt
Certainly
intent.
has to be it. Certainly has to be it. 30 seconds on Maple. At least you have 15 on Weiwei.
Rakan's not going to be able to hold this one off. LNG.
Yeah, that's it.
Against all odds, this team now pushing towards the next. SwordArt jumps in just to die. Against all odds, Suning were the favorites, but LNG show up huge in their final match of the season to lock in playoffs and kick out WE.
Finally, when it comes up clutch, LNG deliver. It's been a while. 2018, where they were put in the same situation, and it was them getting kicked out of that playoff situation by FPX in the final series of the regular season. This time around, they dominate Suning. Now remember, motivation does matter. When you come into a situation, final week, a team has already been secured in playoffs, where they can just go through comfortable, compositions that they're not so comfortable on. Not everything is riding on the line, and in fact, even if you lose the series, debatably you're on the easier side of the bracket. While LNG definitely had everything on the line here, had to play as good as they can, and they did. So it's one of those moments where, pressure elevated LNG. Well, there is literally no pressure on Suning whatsoever.
No. To see LNG play like this, though, your heart races a bit, especially when SofM, the support staff's covered out.
Get in there.
They're happy.
Take
Like,
the head off.
We just made playoffs. And SofM's like, okay, again, I'll see you there. That was not a faker hat, was it? Yes,
You have eyes, you need glasses too. Take that hat off. You're in the wrong region, my friend. Unless if that's a sneak peek to next split.
That was a great way to finish off the regular season for both LNG and Suning, and especially for LNG.
Yeah, a big congratulations for LNG. The fact that they're able to come into this series, once again, everything on the line, come up with a big win, and find themselves now flatly in playoffs. Congratulations, because really, beginning of the split, it wasn't even a question on our minds that they would ever be pushed out of playoffs because of how strong they were. But then they started rolling down that hill, and then you realize it's a larger and larger. Apparently it was a mountain.
Yep.
They keep rolling. They finally got back on their feet. You feel bad for Team WE that definitely looked like the better team at the end of the split, but
until this series came along, arguably, I know a lot of people will be
this series came along,
debating that, but LNG also get their first series win against a top 8 team as well to finish it off.
Thank God.
Yes, at least lead you to believe something leading into playoffs.
And so we should have our bracket here, honestly. We're in a great spot knowing that, LNG's taken what seems to be, I think a 5th place. Yeah, I'm actually looking at this one closely, that they should be able to be in a 7th place spot. So if my imagination comes to fruition, LNG is now going up against ED.
There we go. What's wrong, Raz?
I'll think that one through.
Okay.
But I will believe the bracket for now. So FPX and Top Esports on the top 2. BLG in quarters now with RNG. And then we're going to have, of course, Suning and EDG here. Now, this is a mistake. I'll just come out and flatly say it. Because remember, not only did LNG come out with a 2-0 victory over Suning, but they have the head-to-head now because of that series.
That is correct.
So LNG should actually be going up against,
IG,
Invictus Gaming. Sunny's going up against EDG. They tried to throw a fast one on me. Take that bracket down. They tried to mess me up.
So
but I have a big brain.
Suning will be up there against EDG just to confirm and fix that
Trying
for
to
you.
mess with me.
IG down with LNG. So that's the entrance into the bracket. That's how LNG have to state their claim in playoffs.
I was scared. It's like my life was flashing before my eyes. That's like, was I wrong all along? Thank God. Anyways, I was like, I don't like to be wrong. But no, that was there was a lot riding on that series. So great job for LNG being able to pick up that win. Playoffs are going to be even more important now going forward.
Yep.
A tough one. Remember, that means that it's going to be SofM going up against Ning on that one if they end up playing Ning. But we're not done. I know I don't want to talk about it too prematurely.
Right.
But the next series is going to be lit.
That's fair. You're excited for it. It's top in FPX. It's first versus second.
Match of the week, final set of the day. final set of the season. And then we go into playoffs.
They did this on purpose.
It's a great finals. Well, they didn't have that large of a brain to know that Top Esports and FPX would be the top 2 teams.
Their brain was large enough to go 3rd versus 4th. That could be good.
That's true.
And little did they know 3rd and 4th upgraded to 1st and 2nd.
They elevated. To be fair, FPX were a first-place team in Spring Split, so you can make that gambit. The top one was a pretty interesting one. Yeah, exactly. Top 3 on that one. Either way, we were going to be having a treat for our final series. So, good stuff riding through. FPX is going to be, I think, of course, the stronger of the 2. There's a lot to talk about when that series comes in. Of course, 5 minutes is when they start that all up.
That's it.
That's going to be done in the Hangzhou venue in Shanghai.
Back here in Shanghai, yeah.
But
I saw that one last time, actually. I saw that one last time. The Top Esports FPX regular season matchup in spring.
Yes.
And that went to all 3 games as well.
Yeah, so these 2 teams are really competitive for honestly different reasons. I love the fact that these teams going up against each other with different style clashing up, so I want to see what they have to offer for us later on.
Yep.
But this series still has a lot to talk about in my eyes, because this is a big series to unpackage, specifically talking about Suning versus LNG, because Suning, now you have real questions about their consistency around, like, I will say way this game definitely got outplayed by SofM. It was a much better game from SofM. They didn't respect much vision early on in the game. The LNG were finding plays alongside Duan, and especially in game 1. It was a pretty, flat-out clean victory for them. Now in game 2, they went towards the Azir, and he was able to have a pretty large lead for himself, so that was great. A lot of those team fights on the bot side of the map worked well for Suning. The only problem was they were going up against a composition that could very easily dive into the back line. It is actually just so hard for Maple to ever survive those team fights. So it was just a bad comp to go up against what LNG had to offer when they had themselves a deficit.
Because I thought Maple was going to carry that game away. You said it in the game itself. It was Maple versus Flande in that game.
Yeah.
And then we just added in the other element. It was unfair. It was 2v1 because Asura came into the mix and was a very big Kaiser again.
Yeah.
Back-to-back games for him as an AD carry.
That's good, because remember, Asura, he's been a very underrated AD carry.
Underrated, yes.
Very underrated, because usually I don't want to give the whole, consistency kind of mark to him, because that's something that Jin Zhao as a player on BLG has always been given.
Yeah.
But he is so much different than him because he has those outplay moments. Asura tries for those moments when he's put in a 1v4 situation. He comes ahead of it. He challenges with his Ezreal and Kai'Sa.
You remember the Vayne from Spring as well?
That's very true. He's a lot more of like a highlight player when it's necessary. He came into the split, or at least the year, like as a rookie. And he's able to like really come in strong and consistent with that team. So for me, he has a lot where Flande, SofM, and at times whoever's in their mid laner between Fun and Plex, when they tend to suffer in play, Asura tends to just come out huge.
Like he did in that game. MVP, by the way, as well. Well deserved. That's 11 kill Kai'Sa in the end. Yeah, quadra kill. Also net you that.
He went up big this game. Now, there were a lot of plays that ended up happening. You could certainly say that, Flande had his moments this one. I think everyone in LNG, are given their just dues. In fact, I would say Duan this series was incredibly impactful. But this one, Asura was always joining in the plays, was always collapsing alongside them. There was one point where he was farming up bot wave, and the rest of the team was able to pick up a top lane advantage, but they always were aware of if the teams were the full 5 men were necessary. Now this one was a play where it's mostly just a misplay from Suning. They were coming in and trying to get those quick and easy kills, but they knew they didn't have an exit strategy. So pretty poor from Suning on that one. This play was pretty easy from LNG. Now Fun kind of greeds in this situation. Knows that he put down Angel to like 20% HP, but Angel sustains, gets himself out there with Flash, and then, of course, Fun ends up paying for it.
It was kind of this fight that I was looking towards, because this was a big Baron play where SofM goes in early and you're like, oh, LNG made a mistake.
Now think about Maple here. How is he going to survive all of this? Great ultimate, but then you had to fear for Asura just jumping on him, reposition himself, but then you had to fear for Fun, who was already actually fairly healthy, and no one even touched Asura. So it goes back to our earlier points. In a flank situation, Azir gets demolished, and this is one of those situations I was talking about. But in a back and front you know, a front-to-back situation, Azir still has a problem because his tank line doesn't exist. And so you can see here, pretty low in HP. His team gets obliterated.
Again, yeah.
He gets jumped on. That's just the story of the game.
Maple had 2 situations like that where 3 people blinking health bars.
Yeah.
And, unfortunate, but you know, that's the way it goes. So Suning and LNG move themselves into the bracket. And now we have to simply wait. But wait for only one more thing, you will. That's right. Top esports at FBX. I've been waiting for this. We're going to have a break and then return with our final matchup of the season.
What the